Alright people, let's talk about psychic abilities. No, I'm not talking about your friend who always seems to know when you're about to call. I'm talking about people who genuinely experience the world a little differently. These are folks who might pick up on emotions, thoughts, or even images that others don't. Imagine just for a second that your inner world isn't entirely your own. That's the reality for many psychically sensitive individuals. Now imagine technology muscling in on that. Not cool, right? For these folks, privacy isn't just about keeping your emails secret or your browsing history on the down low. It's about protecting something far more personal, their very thoughts and feelings. It's like having your diary open for anyone with the right tech to read. And trust me, in this day and age, that's a scary thought. We're talking about a whole new level of vulnerability here. Think about it. Our digital footprints are already sprawling, tracking our every move, like and share. Now, imagine that footprint expanding to include our unspoken thoughts and emotions. That's the potential reality for psychically sensitive individuals. Suddenly, the line between our inner world and the outside world gets a whole lot blurrier. And that, my friends, is where things start to get really complicated. Because when it comes to psychic privacy, the stakes are higher than ever before. So, how exactly is technology crashing the psychic privacy party? Well, picture this, brain-computer interfaces, those futuristic gadgets that let you control stuff with your mind. Sounds cool, right? But now imagine someone hacking into that interface. Not so cool anymore, huh? Suddenly, your innermost thoughts are up for grabs. And it's not just about futuristic tech either. We're already seeing algorithms designed to predict our emotions based on facial recognition and social media activity. Imagine those algorithms getting their hands on your raw, unfiltered psychic energy. It's like giving Google Maps access to your soul. A bit too close for comfort. The thing is, technology is evolving faster than we can say privacy violation. Every day, new devices and software are being developed that could potentially tap into our psychic selves. And the scary part? We're only just beginning to understand the implications of all this. What happens when our thoughts are no longer our own? When our emotions become data points to be analyzed and exploited? These are questions we need to be asking right now. Here's the kicker. The law is playing catch-up when it comes to psychic privacy. Our legal systems are struggling to keep pace with the rapid advancements in technology. It's like trying to catch a bullet train with a bicycle. You're gonna need a bigger bike, my friend. Most privacy laws focus on protecting our physical bodies and our tangible property. But what about our intangible selves? Our thoughts, emotions, and yes, even our psychic experiences. Right now, there's a massive gray area. And as you can imagine, that gray area is a playground for all sorts of legal shenanigans. Without clear legal definitions and protections, it's incredibly difficult to prosecute someone for violating psychic privacy. How do you prove that someone accessed your thoughts without your consent? How do you even begin to quantify the damages? These are uncharted legal waters, and right now it's a free-for-all. This legal limbo leaves psychically sensitive individuals incredibly vulnerable. They're essentially walking around without any real legal recourse against psychic intrusion. It's like living in the Wild West. But instead of cowboys and saloons, it's tech giants and algorithms vying for control of our minds. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, government surveillance. We all know that governments have a knack for using technology to keep tabs on their citizens. But what happens when that surveillance extends to our very thoughts? It's enough to give you chills, right? Imagine a world where authorities can use brain scanning tech to detect criminal intent before a crime is even committed. Sounds like something out of Minority Report, right? But it's not as far-fetched as you might think. With advancements in neuroimaging and artificial intelligence, this kind of psychic surveillance could very well become a reality. And it's not just about catching criminals. Governments could potentially use this technology to identify political dissidents, suppress free speech, and manipulate public opinion. Imagine a world where your innermost thoughts could land you in trouble with the law. It's a dystopian future that we need to avoid at all costs. The potential for abuse is simply too great to ignore. We need to be having serious conversations about the ethical and legal implications of psychic surveillance before it becomes the norm. Because once that Pandora's box is open, it's going to be very hard to close. Section 5. When hackers turn psychic criminal exploitation of sensitive minds. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the dark side of tech, the criminals. We all know that hackers are constantly finding new ways to exploit technology for their own gain. But what happens when those hackers set their sights on our psychic selves? It's enough to send shivers down your spine. Imagine a world where hackers can steal your thoughts, manipulate your emotions, or even implant false memories. It sounds like the plot of a Black Mirror episode, but it's a very real threat in the age of psychic technology. For psychically sensitive individuals, the risks are even greater. They could become easy targets for criminals looking to exploit their abilities for financial gain, identity theft, or even blackmail. Imagine being blackmailed with your own thoughts. It's a nightmare scenario that highlights the very real dangers of psychic hacking. And here's the thing, as technology advances, so too will the sophistication of these attacks. We're talking about a whole new breed of cybercrime that could have devastating consequences for individuals and society as a whole. We need to start taking psychic security as seriously as we take cybersecurity, because in the wrong hands, our thoughts can be just as valuable, if not more so, than our credit card numbers or social security numbers. Section 6. The emotional fallout trauma in the age of psychic intrusion. Let's not forget about the human cost of all this. Psychic violations are not victimless crimes. They can have severe emotional and psychological consequences for the individuals involved. Imagine having your most private thoughts and feelings violated. It's a deeply unsettling experience that can leave lasting scars. The trauma of psychic intrusion can manifest in many ways: anxiety, depression, PTSD, sleep disorders, and even physical symptoms like headaches and fatigue. It's like having your personal space violated on a fundamental level. Imagine someone breaking into your home and rifling through your most personal belongings. Now imagine that same violation happening inside your own mind. Not a pleasant thought, is it? For psychically sensitive individuals, the emotional toll can be even greater. They may already feel different or misunderstood, and experiencing a psychic violation can exacerbate these feelings of isolation and vulnerability. It's like adding insult to injury. We need to start treating psychic violations with the seriousness they deserve. This means providing adequate support and resources for victims, including access to mental health care and legal assistance. We also need to educate the public about the very real dangers of psychic intrusion and the importance of respecting psychic boundaries. Section 7. Shielding the mind, the quest for legal protections. So, how do we protect ourselves in this brave new world of psychic technology? Well, for starters, we need to start treating psychic privacy as a fundamental human right. Just like we have laws protecting our physical bodies and our property, we need laws that recognize and protect our mental and psychic integrity. This means enacting legislation that specifically addresses psychic intrusion, defining it as a crime with real consequences. We need to establish clear legal boundaries around the use of technologies that can access or manipulate our thoughts and emotions. It's like setting up a digital fence around our minds, so to speak. But it's not just about punishing the bad guys. We also need to empower individuals with the legal tools to protect themselves. This means giving people the right to know if their psychic data is being collected, stored, or shared. It also means giving them the right to access and delete that data, just like we can with our online data. It's about giving individuals control over their own minds in the digital age, because at the end of the day, our thoughts are our own. Section 8. Holding the tech giants accountable, a call for ethical responsibility. Now let's talk about the big players in all of this, the tech giants. These companies are at the forefront of developing the very technologies that could potentially violate our psychic privacy. And let's be real, they don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to protecting our data. We need to hold these companies accountable for the ethical implications of their creations. It's not enough to simply focus on profits and innovation. They need to prioritize ethical design and responsible development, ensuring that their products and services are not used to exploit or harm individuals. This means incorporating privacy by design principles into their products, ensuring that psychic data is protected by default. It also means being transparent about how they collect, store, and use psychic data, giving users clear and informed choices about how their data is handled. It's about time the tech giants stepped up and took responsibility for the potential consequences of their creations. Because with great power comes great responsibility, right? Section 9. Safeguarding our psychic future, a collective imperative. Look, protecting psychic privacy isn't just about protecting a small group of psychically sensitive individuals. It's about protecting something far more fundamental, the sanctity of the human mind. It's about ensuring that our thoughts, emotions, and inner experiences remain our own, free from intrusion and manipulation. This is a collective responsibility. We all have a role to play in shaping the ethical landscape of psychic technology. We need to start having open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of these technologies. We need to educate ourselves and others about the importance of psychic privacy and the dangers of intrusion. The future of our minds depends on it.